Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is an amazing crowd. I can tell that already. Hi, my name is Ken Jacobson. I'm Senior Documentary Program at the Sonoma International Film Festival, and I want to welcome you to the festival and to tonight's screening of Carol Doda, Topless at the Condor, directed by Marlo McKenzie and Jonathan Parker. My first question is for you all. Do we have any documentary fans in the house? We do. That's fantastic. Do we have any Carol Doda fans in the house? We sure do. I want to just say a couple of quick thank yous. I want to thank the KHR Foundation and Delta Airlines for their support. Thank you. I love the woohoo for them, as well as the support of all of our sponsors and, of course, you, our audience. I mean, this is an absolutely packed house. It's so great to see you all here today. I'm going to make this short and sweet. That's pretty much it, except to tell you we are going to have a very special Q&A after. We have Pete and Benita Mattioli in the house, and you will see them in the film. So save up your questions for them, and we will see you after the movie. Meanwhile, enjoy the film. Take care. Bye. All right, thank you all for sticking around. Another round of applause for this great film and for our two participants in the film, Benita and Pete Mattioli. Wow, so quite a journey. I think that's about 60 years of San Francisco history and really international history, because you all made history around the world in 1964. I want to just ask a couple of questions and then we'll throw it open to you guys. I'm sure you have questions. Pete, if I could, well, actually, before I get to you, Pete, as you probably saw from the credits, this film is based in part, I guess, on Benita's book, 3 Nights at the Condor. And so we definitely will want to get into how you came to write that book and how it, led to this film. But I thought I would just start with you, Pete, and ask you to go back those 60 plus years and tell us what it was like to first meet and get to know Carol Doda.
She was a cocktail waitress. We hired her as a cocktail waitress. And we had a trio there called the Billy Dare Trio. And he played the piano, and Carol used to gyrate around while she served her cocktails. And she had a gorgeous figure, and so then Billy put the piano on and put her on top of the piano, and that's how that all started. Yeah.
And what were just your personal impressions of Carol as a person?
Oh, Carol, she was a good person. I don't think she had a mean bone in her body. She stood by what she said. Yeah. Yeah, I think, that really does come through in the film, and it's one of the things I love about the film is all the local news footage. I mean, that's just wonderful stuff, and if you grew up in the Bay Area like I did, you recognize Roland Post and all these guys. They're all guys, pretty much, doing the interviewing, but just her self-possession and her really total lack of any kind of pretense. She just, it's very much seemed like, who you see is who you get. Is that pretty much the case? And Benita, why don't you jump in here and also tell us, what were your first impressions of Carol?
Oh, I thought she was beautiful and witty, funny, very warm and friendly. Even though I, was dating Pete, the owner of the club, she didn't show me any animosities or anything like, oh, that's his girlfriend. She was very friendly to me, and I liked her a lot. The way I got to do this book was, Pete was married before me, and I met him in 1970 on Waikiki Beach. I was living in New York, and so we started dating coast to coast, and then one day when I was at his house, I found these stacks of newspaper clippings of the 60s. So that's 1970 when I met him. All these his first wife had saved. Every single newspaper article was saved. And so I used a lot of these old articles because the writers were great in the Chronicle, the News Call Bulletin, and Examiner. They were fabulous writers in those days. And so when I wrote the book, if you read it, you'll see that I've taken a lot of what they said, the quotes, and quoted them because they were there, and I wasn't, even though I heard a lot from Pete in writing the book as well. So that's how I got to write it.
Great. Let me throw it open to you guys. Who has some questions for Pete and Benita? It's a little hard to see you, but I see a question right here, and I'll repeat the question.
I just wonder if Carol ever got together with kids ever.
The question is, did Carol ever get together with her kids? Do we know about that?
We don't know. I don't believe she did, but her daughter passed away, and her son is still living, I believe, at least when I wrote my book at that time. So her daughter passed away, and I don't know what, but she died young, the daughter. I don't know how. But no, she never went back to her children.
And right in the middle here.
In the credits, there was was it Paul Doda? Is that the son?
The question is, there's a mention of Paul Doda in the credits. Who's Paul Doda?
No, her son was named Smith from her first husband. He took the husband's name, so he was, I forget his first name, but last name was Smith.
And who is Paul?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Oh, Alan. Okay. Was there an Alan? Okay. Some other questions. Okay. Yeah, we've got a gentleman right back here on the aisle.
So, Benita, what were you doing at the time you met Pete on Waikiki Beach?
This feels a bit like it could be a plant, but Benita, what were you doing on the beach in Waikiki when you met Pete?
Well, I wasn't topless. I had a little bikini on. He called it a little triangles thing, 3 triangles. But I met him there. I was flight attendant for United Airlines, so I was on vacation. I'd taken about 5 days to go to Hawaii by myself. I used to travel a lot by myself. And Pete was there with all of his North Beach gang. And they were a lot of fun, so I kind of hooked up with them for the time I was there to go to the shows and stuff in Hawaii. He was good friends with Don Ho.
Why you to transist?
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason that Pete clicked with me was I was tired. I'd been there a couple of days, and I was tired of the luau music. And so I said, gosh, I'd like to have them change the music. We were at the Hilton. And so Pete got an idea, and he ran in the Hilton Hotel, and he bought me a little transistor radio. And he walked out, put it on a rock and roll station. He walked out and stuck it in the sand right by my ear. I was laying in the sun. And so he put rock and roll right there. And I went, oh, well, that's cool. I like this guy. He was pretty slick.
Just a question, really, for well, actually. So when did you get married? What year?
We got married in 1981, 11 years after we met.
Okay. And Pete, you owned the club until when?
You owned the club until when?
I forget. 74, I think we sold. Yeah.
He owned controlling interest in
From
7 clubs.
Denver bought it. Jerry Morris.
No, Don Levine bought from you.
No, Jerry Morris bought it first, and then Don Levine bought it from Jerry.
There you go.
Yeah.
And did you, after you sold the club, were you still going to North Beach and keeping track of what was going on there, or what was
bought
your
a
connection
horse
after that?
I bought a horse ranch, and I had a friend. He took me to see this guy who had this stallion called Cal Bar, who was the oldest son of Doc Bar. And he says, did you go see it? He wants $12,000 for that horse. I said, well, I never heard of such. You spend $10,000, $12,000 on. So then he came back and he says, did you go see him? And I said, no. Oh, he says, he doesn't want 12.5, he wants 25. I said, no, I know you're nuts. So then anyway, we went over there and we worked out a deal where I got it on a 3-year payoff. And that's how I bought this stallion called Calabar, and I started a breeding ranch, a breeding horse ranch. And I bred a lot of my own brood mares, and then a lot of the locals came to breed to them, and before you know it, they were coming from Texas all over the place to breed to my stallion. And then I had yearlings and weanlings, and they'd come from Texas, and they'd say, "What is that one over there? Where you all?" Texas. So I'd say, "Well, that one's out of a Royal King mare." He says, "You pluck him out for me." And I'd pluck him. Guy go get him. And, "How much you want for that horse?" I'd say, $20,000. He said, we'll write you a check. And I was selling horses for 20 grand a pop. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, it's incredible that you basically reinvented yourself, you know, doing something completely different. I can't imagine a lifestyle much different than owning a club. I think we have maybe time for one or two more right up here.
Where was the horse ranch?
It was the Double Barn Ranch on Piddleham Hill Road for many years, and then we changed the name to Hunter Lane Equestrian Center before we sold it. Now we sold it, and we've retired.
What was the address on Peddler Hill? I live right close by.
603 Hunter Lane.
I know the ranch.
Okay.
There you go. He knows the ranch, even, right here.
Benita, share with us what your life's been like being married to Pete all these years.
The question is, for Benita, what's your life been like all these years being married to Pete?
It's been
Just
fabulous.
a reminder, Pete is sitting right here.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
case you
yeah.
forgot.
Well, we've had our ups and downs like any marriage, but it's, you know, we've had an exciting life. I can't imagine. We've traveled the world because I was a flight attendant. We got to take care of those. We went to so many horse shows all over the United States, even in Hawaii. And we really built a beautiful ranch over there that I was so proud of. And so, yeah, it's been fun. It's been wild. We did go back to North Beach a lot, and we did see a lot of our friends back there quite often, had dinners and go to Skomas and that kind of thing. We were good friends with Frankie Alioto from North Beach, and we traveled to through Europe with Frankie. So he kept a lot of
The
friends.
street at that time had the best restaurants, and they had New Joe's, Vanessi's, Swiss Louis, all the best restaurants. Yeah.
I think we probably have time for one more right here.
Where can we get the book?
Where can folks pick up the book?
Yes,
Not a plant. He just wants to know.
I apologize that we don't have for sale here tonight. I didn't get myself together in time to do that. But it's on Amazon.com. 3 Nights at the Condor on Amazon. So we hope you'll get it. It's got a lot more detail. It's a memoir of Pete's life. It includes all of Carol Doda and all of North Beach, of course, but it's a memoir and it's a love story to him.
I think we are all out of time, unfortunately. I want to thank you, Benita and Pete, for being with us. Any last words before we go out? And hopefully you can stick around in the lobby in case
Yes,
people
we
have
can
other
stick around in the lobby if you have any more questions or just, I'd love to see you.
questions.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.